cioè che poi domani ne piglio di più e vedrai che rimango. Si chiede prima il permesso di fare i filmati al banco. 8,50, 8. No, oggi guarda, ho detto, dico sicuramente a 8 euro, dico massimo. Se lo guardi, dopo un po' lo riconosci.
Ok, sì, no, va bene.
No. Allora ci sono una
It's a modification of the Mediterranean diet, and it takes on board the DASH diet as well, which is dietary approach to stopping hypertension or some such words. And so the features of both those diets were combined, along with other evidence for other foods that seem to be very specific to dementia. It's largely composed of plant foods, grains, etc. But it differs insofar as specifically, rather than just having fruit to eat, it specifically concentrates on eating berries, for instance, blueberries or strawberries. And it also specifically recommends not just all vegetables, but green leafy vegetables. So the consumption of berries seems to effectively reduce your brain aging. And it's thought that that's because berries are rich in flavonoids, which is a type of polyphenol. And there is a class of flavonoids called anthocyanidins, which appear to localize in, well, for a start, they can cross the blood-brain barrier, and they appear to localize in regions of the brain that are connected with memory and learning. So that's the hypothesis for that. In terms of the green leafy vegetables, for instance, the likelihood is, or the probability is, that you're looking at higher consumption of folate, one of the B vitamins. And all the B vitamins, not just folate, but particularly vitamin B12, seem to be very important in terms of keeping dementia at bay. In particular, B12 is difficult to separate from its food sources. And you would normally do that by the acid in your stomach would do that. As you age, quite often you have less acid in your stomach. And also, as you age, you might quite likely be put on to proton pump inhibitors or other drugs that reduce stomach acidity.
Ο Χρήστος που είναι που έχω γερόντο, θέλει με μηχανή για αυτή την
Αξιοπρεπής κύρια.
Αξιναυτή, τούτου μασαλά.
But the contribution genetically is probably no more than 7 or 8%. On the other hand, the contribution of actually managing your risks a little bit more effectively, and diet is part of those risks. And there are 9 bits to that, and they vary from blood pressure to smoking, not to drinking too much alcohol, to physical exertion, to social isolation, to hearing. You know, there's a whole list of them. Most of them actually relatively easy to do and cheap to do, by the way. You can actually manage as much as 33% of your risk that way. So it's a fun, you know, it's really better to think in terms of life course.
It's quite hard to resist, so it's tricky for us. We have so much choice, and we seem, you know, food has got cheaper over the years, relatively speaking. So I think there's too much temptation for us to do the wrong things.